Hey there and welcome. Let's be honest, when you hear the words English tenses, your mind probably jumps to complicated charts and, well, headaches. But what if we looked at it in a totally different way? What if grammar isn't really about memorizing a bunch of rules, but about learning how to tell incredible stories? Specifically, telling stories in time. Let's dive in and see how these tenses actually give our stories all their shape and meaning.
You know, every story, every action, every single thing that happens really boils down to this one simple question. When did it happen? Was it yesterday? Is it happening this very second? Or is it something that's going to happen tomorrow? Well, English tenses are basically the amazing toolkit we get to use to answer that question, and they let us add all this precision and color to everything we say.
So, here's the core idea. Think of tenses like a map for navigating time with our words. They're like little signals we send to people listening, helping them place an action in the past, lock it into the present moment, or launch it way out into the future. It's all about showing when something happened.
Okay, to make this super clear, we're going to use this simple timeline. It's kind of perfect, right? Everything that has ever happened, is happening right now, or will ever happen fits somewhere on this line: the past, the present, and the future. And for this explainer, we're going to follow one simple story as it travels up and down this very timeline.
And here is our story. Just 4 simple words. She writes a letter. We're going to stick with this one single example, and you'll get to see how tiny little tweaks to the verb can move our character's action all over that timeline. By keeping the story the same, it's going to make these kind of abstract ideas feel really concrete and way easier to lock into your memory. All right, let's kick things off right in the middle of our timeline, the present. Then now, how do we talk about what's happening at this very moment? Well, as you're about to see, English gives us a few different ways to do this, and each one has its own unique feel. Okay, so check out the difference here. It's pretty important. On the left, she writes a letter. That's the simple present. It describes a habit, a regular fact. Maybe she writes one every single Friday. But on the right, she is writing a letter. That's the present continuous. It's like hitting the live button. It means it's happening at this exact moment. You could walk in the room and see her doing it right now. Okay, what about this one? She has written a letter. This is the present perfect, and it's this brilliant little time traveler. The action of writing, that happened in the past, but it has a direct connection to right now. The letter is finished, see? The ink is dry, and it's sitting right there on the table in front of us. The result of that past action is being felt in the present. It's so cool. So what if she started writing an hour ago and she's still at it? That's exactly where this tense comes in handy. She has been writing a letter. This shows us that the action started in the past, and it's continuing right up to this very second. You can almost feel the duration, how long she's been working on it. All right, let's rewind the clock. It's time to move our story from the now to the before now. We're going to travel back along our timeline and see how we tell stories about things that are totally and completely finished.
Now look at this. She wrote a letter. That's a simple, completed fact. The action is over. Done. It's a closed case, filed away in the past. But she was writing a letter. That's different. It paints a picture, doesn't it? It tells us what was in progress at a specific moment in the past. You know, like when the phone suddenly rang. It sets the scene.
Now for a really powerful tool, the past perfect. To show you just how powerful it is, let's step away from our letter story for just a second. Look at this classic example. The patient had died before the doctor came. We've got 2 actions in the past here, right? The patient dying and the doctor arriving. That past perfect tense, had died, makes it absolutely 100% clear which one of those 2 things happened first. It's all about the sequence of events. So let's bring this back to our story. She had written a letter before the mail was picked up. This slide here just breaks down the simple formula. It might look a little technical, but it's really just a simple recipe. You've got the subject, she, then you add had, and then you use that past participle, or what some people call the third form of the verb. In our case, written. It's a super reliable way to show an action was finished before some other past action. Okay, we've visited the present, we've explored the past. You know what's next? Let's fire up the time machine and jump forward on our timeline. It's time to explore the after now, that whole world of plans, predictions, and all the possibilities that haven't even happened yet. And hey, look, we're seeing a similar pattern again. She will write a letter just states a future fact or an intention. It's gonna happen. But she will be writing a letter? That gives us more detail. It tells us that at a specific time in the future, let's say 8 p.m. tomorrow night, she will be right in the middle of that action. So, don't call her then.
Now, let's get our heads around the future perfect with, she will have written a letter. This is a fun one. It isn't just about an action in the future, it's about an action that will be completed by a certain future deadline. For example, by the time you get to her house tomorrow, that letter will already be finished and sitting on the desk. So, we've traveled from the past to the present and into the future. It might feel like we've covered a dozen different separate rules, but here's the secret. We haven't. Now we're going to pull back and you'll see that it's actually just one simple repeating pattern. And this is the absolute key to mastering the whole thing. Let's look at our timeline one last time. Just look at the beautiful pattern here. In each of these time periods, past, present, and future, we find the same three basic ideas. We have simple actions for basic facts, we have continuous actions for things that are in progress, and we have perfect actions for things completed before another point in time. The underlying logic is always the same. The only thing that changes is the timing. So what does all this mean for you? It means you can forget about trying to memorize 12 different tenses. You just need to think in these 3 simple steps. First, where on the timeline is your action, past, present, or future? Second, what's your focus? Are you just stating a fact, describing something in progress, or are you marking an action as completed? And then, step 3, just tell your story. It's honestly that simple. And this final table just boils it all down perfectly. Simple tenses, they're for facts. Continuous tenses, they put you right in the middle of the action as it's happening. And perfect tenses are all about actions that are completed before some other point in time. That's it. That's the entire toolkit. So we come all the way back to where we started. Tenses aren't just dry, boring rules on a page. They're the actual tools you get to use to shape time itself when you tell your stories. They give you the power to be precise, to create suspense, and to paint these really vivid pictures for whoever is listening. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with them now? How will you tell your story?